I heard y'all was looking for tips on how to shoot photos, particularly how to set up a proper photo shoot. I'm here for that. And I'm gonna show y'all today how to set up a proper photo shoot, a DIY photo shoot for your room or for your house, wherever you have free space. It's fairly simple. I do it all the time, actually. Being someone who takes photos for myself and being someone who prefers to do things DIY rather than going over to a photo studio or anywhere like that in particular. Whether it's just out and about or it's at my house, I always like to set things up by myself and do them for myself. So looking at my room, y'all can see the space is pretty bland. I mean, it looks no better than a normal room, right? I'm pretty sure y'all might have a similar setup in your space. You can see that there's not much to work with, right? Well, hold on. First things first, I'm shirtless, so let's throw on a fit. The first step to having a good photo shoot is setting up a good outfit. All right, now just for y'all to be able to see better, I set y'all up on a tripod, throw in a shirt just so I can cover up, and I throw in some gray sweatpants. Most people will look at this outfit and be like, what the fuck is this? Like, this isn't even styling nothing. You're right. But I'm also a rock star, and I don't give a fuck. This is what I want to throw on. This is what I feel comfortable in. At least the colors match in a way that I look a little bit more stylish. It's a lazy fit. I'm at least a little bit more presentable. Like, I could be on a podcast like this. I could be out and about if I truly wanted to like this. Yeah, it's no different from wearing a tank top or women wearing a sports bra, stuff like that. After we got done with our outfit, getting all set up properly, we can talk about the equipment that you need. Now, like I said, I got y'all set up on a tripod. That isn't necessarily essential. What I had y'all on before was a speaker on top of another speaker that I have in my room. Right now I got an ice cream bowl there, but y'all can see this fan, right? I could have y'all leaning up on the fan. I use my phone to record. I could have y'all set up on the fan. I could have y'all set up on the chair. And that's a way for someone to set up a camera in their room. They don't have to worry about getting equipment forward to set up for the space. The important thing is if it can stand up, if it can hold itself up, it won't move around, it won't shake, cause noises, popping and cracking over audio, make a particular picture look weird or distorted. That's the important thing. Along with that, positioning of your camera and positioning of yourself in the frame of the camera is what matters. Right now you have a top body shot of me, but if I move back like this, it isn't much better because the way that the height of the tripod is holding y'all up, the elevation's a little crazy, but now you have at least a little bit more of a full body shot. There's also a talking headshot like this. I am crouching down for this, but you kind of get the picture. When I sit down like this is what y'all are more accustomed to. Oh, don't worry, I got Love Island on in the background. That's something I'm watching. This is the more talking headshot. This is good for like narration and stuff like that when you want to be more up close and personal to whoever I'm talking to, which happens to be y'all. But this also works for photo shoots. If you want to take like, you know, really cinematic shots and really like in the frame, really like make it clear that you're pondering some shit. Now, I apologize that the camera's a little bit slanted. Slanted too is an optional choice that y'all can choose that helps with the camera shot if you care to have it look a certain way. Maybe this is more cinematic. Back here is the point that I was going to talk about. Standing using a different camera angle like this is more of like a panned out shot is what I would call. Not exactly like panned out in the way that's a wide frame pan out, but it's a pan out where you can stand back and catch more of the scene and catch more of like what's going on in the picture. I'm not a photographer, I'm definitely not a videographer, but I did model for a little bit, for about half a year, and I do have experience with how you take photos, and I do have experience with how you edit photos and how you can make something look cinematic. With stuff like making things cinematic and stuff with, you know, recording certain things or taking certain shots, you want things to look a certain way, right? So you have to imagine the space. You have to imagine how you're presenting yourself in the space. I, for an example, took the camera and put the camera on a different object, you would have a different vision as I was showing y'all with the different shots. With certain things like lighting, lenses, optional shading and coloring, details and accents in clothing or accessories, general all behind the scenes setup for a photo shoot or for even video, things like that are all optional. You don't necessarily need it, but I would recommend out of everything to have good lighting. My camera is set up in front, my window is behind the camera and it's shining down on me, so I have clear lighting on my face and y'all have a clear picture of me and what I'm doing in my room. I'm taking up majority of the light spectrum, and not just because I'm white, but also because of the way that the light is shining down on me. I'm the main subject in the picture. See, when I move my hands a little bit, I don't know how well this will pop up on the YouTube video, but if you see how I'm moving my hands, when my hands are up here, everything behind my hands got darker. As soon as I moved it down, everything became a little bit lighter. And that's because the subject is changing in the picture. My hands are up here, I become more of the focus. So automatically, I have to take up more of the light. Down here, you guys can see more of the picture. Darker, lighter. Out of everything you probably need is a good fit and good lighting. And if you can afford it, or if you can at least find a way to do it creatively, a good position for where you want your camera, iPhone, 3DS, bro, MP3, I don't even know. Whatever you are taking a photo on or recording on, that is the thing that you have to have a good setup for. The option is to have a good surrounding too, a good background. Let's talk about the background now. As I was mentioning a little bit earlier, you can see that the background looks like a normal bedroom, right? The difference in language that's used when it comes to filming a video, when it comes to taking a photo, is this background is busy. It's very, very busy. There is a picture right there. There is a whole bunch of shit on my shelf. There is a whole bunch of shit in there in my closet. There is people literally on the screen. There is a mirror in the frame, blah, 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 blah. It is a busy, busy background. Now, this only works if you are taking a photo specifically to show off you are in a bedroom, or if you're making a video, this is now the bedroom scene. That's where I am. This is a room scene, if you don't want to call it a bedroom. With that being the thing, this is the background. Also could be called a subject, but it's called something different. I don't remember off the top of my head. You, within the frame, being everything surrounding me, everything in front of me, everything behind me, excluding the camera, I'm fitting myself as a subject into the frame. Now, how the fuck do I do that? Well, I'm glad y'all asked. You have to choose your optimal background appropriately. If you want something for good photos, for magazine shoots, or wedding photos, or baby pictures, or for something that is to take a picture of just a person, you want a blank background. It doesn't matter what color it is. Preferably though, you often go with white, gray, black. That's it. I ain't seen nothing else used unless you want to add specifically color for the sake. Generally, white, black, gray are the three different backgrounds you would like optimally for a subject photo, being yourself in a frame. If you were taking a photo of anything else, you can also use those backgrounds. But what you want in particular is if you were fitting other things into the frame, say now doing something with a guitar. A guitar is a very simple object and it could go in a black, white, gray background. Would it look better if you paired it with something else? Yes. The reason why is because when you're doing photos of people with items, you want to make the item more so the star than yourself. Obviously you exist in the photo, that's regardless, but the item is the thing that you want to highlight. So you could go with a blue background on a brown guitar, go with dark green on a brown guitar. You see how my door looks over the green? Looks a little bit better. Obviously the lighting on the background isn't that good right now because I'm the main subject, but you can see that the brown pairs really well with the dark green, the olive green. You have to pick and choose how you want things to look. You have to, you know, when you can't, you can't. I understand that. I mean, I'm in a fucking green room wearing gray. What am I gonna do here, right? You have to pick and choose a little bit. You don't wanna just take photos for the sake of taking photos. Do whatever, ball out, like who the fuck cares, right? If you wanna take good photos, like real good photos, that all matters. So let me show y'all different depictions of backgrounds. I'm gonna use my door as an example. I'm gonna use my blank wall as an example. As blank as it can get. My wall is a little messy. You'll get the general idea from my background and from my room. As you can see, me standing just where I'm standing right now, you can already see a difference in how this picture looks, in how the frame looks, right? Consider this the picture. This is a video, but consider I'm the subject. Consider the thing that I'm doing right now being the entirety of a picture. How the background looks, it looks a little bit more put together. It looks a little bit more directed towards two things. Yes, there's still stuff in the photo and it looks busy, of course. Watch how things changed when I move backwards. Y'all can see now it's just me and the background of my door. This looks a little bit more put together, right? This looks a little bit more intentional. It's still on me. I'm also using a little bit of extra lighting. You know, it's just to add top down so y'all can see the door a little bit better and see myself. You can see me still being the subject in this particular photo, or sorry, in the particular frame, but behind me, the background looks more intentional. While it looks a little crazy, you can get that it's Western themed and you can get that I'm posed up in front of it taking a selfie. This is me holding it from a selfie angle, showing y'all a blank-ish. Bear with me, like I said, my wall is dirty, just... This would normally be a blank canvas of a green wall. You can see how much the change has occurred in the frame and see how different it is in comparison to having something as a background. This is now a blank-ish background, and y'all can see that I become automatically more focused for y'all to look at. This is important, like I said, for headshots. Side profile, top, down, I don't even know. Yeah, all that. This is also important for taking wedding photos. Y'all see a bunch of baby photos with their moms in very blank backgrounds because they are the subject. Nothing else in the frame is. You could say that, and don't take this the wrong way, but just per the business and how you would talk about it. The mother is the subject. The baby would be an object that is described as an item for the photo. The reason why is because when you have the initial person step into frame, they become the center of attention. Depending on how you're subjecting either person, you could make the baby the center of the center of attention, but then automatically the mother would become the item. And how you're framing it all depends on that philosophy, on that value. Not to denounce anyone or not to dehumanize anything, you have to look at it as the camera is only picking up what it sees in the picture. Now, if you have two things, either both people have to be on equal grounds of how they're being interpreted by the camera, or one person is in stronger value than the other person in how they are taking up in the photo. Oftentimes, the mother is the subject in a baby photo, and the baby, when they're being held or some shit, they're being used as an item or as an object of value that can be had used for the sake of bringing more attention to the item or to the person who is holding the item. You know, mother with baby. Or specifically with baby photos, like baby photos, the baby is holding a rattle, a blanket, some shit like that, the item in question. How you would frame that is center of attention. I don't got anything better, so pretend my blankets are a baby. You look at me, you see me as the center of attention, but you also see the fact that I'm holding the baby. That's the general idea with why blank backgrounds matter, because nothing else in the frame matters except for the subject and the subject's object, if there is one in question. This is a can of sparkling water. The reason why I mention this is so you all know what it is. Another reason is, as you can see, besides whatever writing you can see from this direction, you can see that's a very blank can. It looks very boring, right? As soon as I turn it around, you can see, oh, it's lemon sparkling water. It's not much, it's a very minimal detail. There's a very big difference between this and this. That's why that matters. If you've ever seen it in movies, ad placement. Gotta make sure this is facing the right way when I'm taking a sip. Not sponsored, by the way, just so you all know, not sponsored. But if I was in a movie, that's how they would do that. They would drink it with the picture, the most visible thing on the can, facing towards y'all, but still looking as natural as they possibly can, taking a weird ass sip from a weird angle. Also, this pop can in particular, not every pop can, has a weird angle to it. So if you ever see someone sipping weird, going in for like a weird drink, that's because they don't want to fuck up the framing of whatever they're trying to subject, which would happen to be a lemon on the can. Things like that matter a lot. The moment I directed y'all's attention to the can, obviously I'm still talking, so I'm a bit more of the subject right now. I made the object more apparent to you the moment I flipped around the lemon face, instead of keeping it as this blank can. Just in case you're stupid. Pretend this is a blank can. You get the general idea though. If I take it out of the frame, I'm still the subject. Yes, I'm wearing jewelry, and yes, I'm wearing all these different objects on me. I even have tattoos and shit that take up something in the picture. You could say even my clothes, depending on how I wear them and the type of clothing that I'm wearing, could take up more attention than I do. That's clothing ads, marketing for different things, and that's something you got to take into account, especially when you're taking a photo. Generally, that's something you have to take into account if you're taking a photo for yourself, especially for ads, especially for magazine covers, especially for this and that. Yeah, let's get on to like accessories, I suppose. I don't own that many accessories, but I make the best of what I got. This, what y'all are on right now, is a standing tripod. Let me show y'all. This will also show y'all how I have y'all set up. That's the other speaker. I generally like to use that small speaker to have the phone on when I'm shooting TikToks. If I'm going for a video, I like to have the tripod being the main accessory that I use. I also have this little doohickey right here. Now this is just a clamp. It's just a clamp holder for a phone. Now this is really good. I use this for taking vlogging videos, or sorry, not vlog, reaction videos. Y'all might have seen it on my other channel, Call 5 TV. I do reaction videos and I use this so I can subject myself more as being the main thing. I have also kind of a makeshift standing tripod, a bigger one than the one y'all just saw. That one I've used recently for the last photo shoot video that I did, the very last photo shoot that y'all probably saw, which was being out and about with my cameraman. For that one, I used specifically a makeshift standing tripod that used to be for a microphone. I turned it into one for a phone camera. But generally, for a good photo shoot and for a good video in general, good lighting, decent to good background, and last but not least, fly threads. Once you got all that together, the last thing you gotta worry about is how you pose. But yeah, that's what I got. That's what I got to show y'all for how to do a DIY setup. Now, it's time to DIY the setup. All right, here's what I got for my background. This is gonna work really well with the flannel and just with the general clothing that I'm wearing. Now I gotta find a place to set up the phone so that I can take a proper photo. I like to take videos because I can take more poses within the span of the video, and that's just my personal preference. Y'all can take photos, but if you are doing this alone, I would actually suggest you take a video and screenshot photos, because that'll allow you to, first of all, work out your best photo, your best poses, your best looks in a photo. It'll also help you determine how you look in a moving setting in comparison to just stills, which oftentimes people look better in action rather than just in photos, and they're often told to be in action when taking a photo. So I beat it to the punch. I'm a fucking pioneer of this shit. I think I'm gonna use my chair as best as I can to set up this shot and have everything look as good as I can within the frame. It takes up a majority of the space and it looks all right. You know, it looks kind of 70s. So I'm gonna go with it. I do actually have a high point on my chair that I could use. I do just have it pinned up, a blanket pinned up with some tags. And now y'all can see, I look a little bit better, don't I? It looks a little bit more put together. Yeah, it looks a little bit more professional, you would say. Y'all was probably hating on me in the beginning, huh? Glad you stayed all the way through? Yeah, I thought so. Now, because I'm doing this as screenshots like I mentioned, I don't mind if the entirety of the blanket isn't in frame, nor how it looks overall, because this is for a YouTube video. But the screenshots I'll take, I'm gonna edit them anyways, and most professional photographers will edit your photos so that you look more put together, whether that just be general lighting or it be the subject's more in frame, things like that, you know, just general things that allow for the photo to come out a little bit better. I like this lighting because it looks a little bit more dramatic, and with the clothing I'm wearing, I'm hoping that I look properly put together within the background. So I can even do something like this. Not recommended, because then it destroys the frame of the shot a little bit, but that's one photo. I'm gonna do this slowly so y'all can see just how I'm posing up and what I just did. I'll do it one more time. I'm gonna lean against the wall. That's one photo. This is one pose I just did, and normally I would screenshot right here to show off the fact that I'm in one photo. Screenshot now if you'd like a photo of me. All right, no, seriously now. Because of the lighting, I'm gonna go for something a little bit more dramatic. That's second photo. I look a little crazy, don't I? Let me switch arms, see if that looks better. That's better. That was second photo. In my opinion, I wouldn't take the one I did before because I didn't like how my gut was kind of popping out, which I am half shirtless, but that is something to take into consideration, you know? I can suck in my gut, but I'd be lying to y'all. So just change up the angle, change up the way it looks, and it looks a little bit better. Things like that matter. That's the third photo. Now, I want to get away from this and go a little bit farther back, and that might work a little bit better, actually. I made the mistake of getting too close to something that would take away from the photo. That is kind of distracting. I want more of the blank background. Now, like I said, I am using a blanket. Most places do use a blanket, but I'm using a blanket that I didn't properly set up, and it has a little bit of tweaking that I could have done. With what I got going on, I'm gonna edit it so this looks a little bit better. I don't mind this line, I mind this though, so I'm gonna cut this out. Fourth photo. Throw a little pose in there, and we'll do one more just for fun. Different angle. Let me set myself up a little bit more. You could do shit on the fly to change up the way things look. I'm doing that right now, as you can see. Clothing can be done a lot with, and it doesn't take much to have a good photo, but it does take a lot to understand why this would be a good photo. There's 5. There's 6. Now, generally watching this, it might look a little weird, and how I look might look a little off for y'all. I understand that. Maybe I'm not the best looking, maybe I'm not the best for modeling now. I think I still look great, but hey, other models might actually say different, and professional models might, you know, say based off of my features, I wouldn't be the best looking for modeling. But I do maybe look good in how I'm posing and how I'm choosing to pose for myself. That would present me in a little bit better of a little bit better in general for someone to say like, hey, he looks at least decent in the photo. He's definitely not model standard, but he looks decent in the photo. So that's what I was going for. And like I said, y'all, maybe at the end of this video, or at least on my Instagram, which you can check out at Call5, y'all will be able to see the full pictures that I took and how I chose to edit them afterwards. This is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If I had lighting equipment, I would have showed y'all lighting equipment, but I don't. So, you know, titty lamp and what I got going on with my actual window. But anyways, this is the end of the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'll catch y'all later. Are you looking for new music? Tired of the same old songs playing on repeat? My name is Call5, I've now got a new shop. I'm now selling physical CDs and vinyls, some of your favorite hits, Pillow Talk, Status, Smoke and Mirrors, and more to name. If you're looking to support an independent artist, or you're someone who enjoys watching my videos and you want to support me in a different way, please, by all means, go check out the store on my official website. I do sell clothes as well. I have a store on Depop where I'm selling my old clothes, customized works of clothes, reselling clothes from different stores. Check out my stores now on my official website.